You're listening to the Chandler Burton Podcast. Turn it up to 11 and rip the knob off. This is Chandler Burton.
What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back to the Chandler Burton Podcast. I am your host, Chandler Burton, and today this has been a long time coming because we've been talking for a while, and I've been wanting to get him on we've been talking for a long time, like months,
quite a while.
Yeah,
hey, persistence is key, my friend. You stayed friendly with me over all the time, and I've always appreciated you. So I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, dude. So we got my boy Mark over at Sunbro Nation. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on, dude. I'm excited to get to talk to you and excited to have the podcast go up on the channel for all your viewers. So, I mean, we got plenty of, similar interests in metal music as well as games. So it's going to be a good conversation. I'm excited for it.
I'm really excited for it too, man. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, dude. As I said, yeah. So kind of how we got in contact here, which is really cool. It really was like, because of Mark, because this could happen to anybody. But I'm a lot of people don't know this actually. I'm a huge gamer. Like, we're talking like huge. I just don't think I have the ability to do what you do. Like, I just feel like your videos are so like really good. And like, I kind of jumped down the rabbit hole. Like, I watch like a lot of video game channels, but everything is just like, I don't know. But dude, your personality caught me like right away. I'm like, dude, I like this guy. I feel like he would fit into like my friend group if we like grew up together. I was like, this guy would be a bro, and your name's Sunbro. So I was like, yeah,
Sunbro,
dude.
there you go.
Yeah, man. So yeah, your channel caught my attention right away, and I was like, oh, just leave a comment saying like, dude, I love your stuff, and you replied back, and we kind of just became friends. I think on Instagram first, and then Facebook, and then Twitter now because I just got a Twitter. So but yeah, man, I appreciate your kindness, dude. I appreciate you coming on and wanting to have a chat, dude.
For sure. Yeah, happy to do it, man. Yeah, like I said, straight out of the gate when you were just so enthusiastic on the channel and then talking about metal music, it was only like 2 or 3 comments, I think, after you left, and you're like, dude, are you a metalhead? And I was like, yeah, bro, yes. Like, okay, so I listened to this band, and we kind of started naming off some, and you were just all about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. So whenever you started following on Instagram and all that, I was like, yeah, I got to get to know this guy more, because, yeah, same to you. Like, it's weird doing stuff on the internet, but you'll come across people that we would probably never cross paths in real life just walking by each other, right? But it's like putting out our interests online, you can have a friend group that you never would have had otherwise, and similar to your energy and personality. I'm like, yeah, I would be friends with this dude, so I'm glad we're getting to know each other more.
Oh, for sure, dude. I love it, man. Yeah, and then I thought it was cool that you started like left a couple of comments on like my videos and stuff, and I was like, dude, this guy's really cool, man. Like, I'm just like, this is
I enjoy your reaction videos, legit. Like, for real. Like, if you saw me when normally it's like, not that I watch videos and drive, but I do have my phone up on this side and commuting to work and everything, and I'll see you out of the corner of my eye, just like when the drops hit, and I just start doing it too. I'm like, the energy comes through, so it's awesome, man.
I love that, dude. I appreciate you watching, man. I was telling you before we started, I actually started out doing podcasts before I started doing like reaction videos, and then I was like, I gotta do something more with the channel on like the entertainment side of things. So I was like, I'm gonna start doing reaction videos, and that's what really got my channel going, which has been like a really cool thing. A lot of people always tell me, oh, we look forward to your reactions, like your energy matches mine, and people are just so nice. I'm like, this is totally cool. Yeah, so it's just so much fun to I just did a reaction actually to I don't know if do you know Devil Wears Prada? You ever listen to that band?
Oh yeah. You know what's crazy is like I feel like I've actually gone through the metal, like any of the mainstream or metal bands that have at least broken out and gotten their names out there.
Yeah.
I've legitimately listened to most all of their stuff up until, admittedly, probably the last 3 or 4 years for whatever reason. Not that I don't actively listen all the time anymore, but I've fallen off the bandwagon of like news with like whenever a new album drops. So the more recent stuff from many bands I'm not as familiar with, but like, dude, that was, I mean, Devil Wears Prada, their whole, discography all the way up till probably, 2017, 2018, something like that. I'm pretty familiar with. So
heck yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. Yeah, they've been dropping new stuff. Their new album drops in September, so I'm just like getting ready for the new album stuff. So yeah, their new songs have been sick. So that's what I was just doing before we actually called. I had to finish that reaction up. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on, dude. Again, I appreciate your time. I'm super excited to just chat video games, music, like life, whatever, Yeah. So my first question, dude, what are you playing right now? Even though I kind of know what you're playing, but what are you playing right now?
Yeah, so a lot of Sonic Origins as of recently. I mean, here's the thing about me, and my friends always tell me I'm stuck in the past, but there can be like the newest like awesome AAA games that come out, and I pick those up and play them too. But whenever a retro title comes out that I have like super nostalgia for, I find myself just like completely immersing myself in it. So been doing that. Kirby and the Forgotten Land I ended up finishing completely as well, which is really good on the Switch. Mario Strikers Battle League.
We'll talk about that. I want to talk about that.
Man, I'm a little bit conflicted on that one because I love the gameplay, but what we can dive in deeper whenever you're ready. But that, and then the game that keeps on giving for me that I kind of can't set down even though I'm done with it. And what?
I'm ready. What is it? Mario Kart?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It is Mario Kart also, but so I platinumed this game and it's Elden Ring.
Oh, okay.
And I keep playing through. I'm at 100+ hours on my file, and I just started another file for no reason at all, dude. There's no reason for me to continue to play it, but it's just so much fun, and it's such a crazy open world, like. But besides that, so that's like my other console stuff that I don't talk about as much on the channel, of course. Yeah. But whenever it comes, dude, Mario Kart, I play that pretty regular. Any chance I get. Just last night, me, my fiance, and her sister were playing Mario Party Superstars, which, by the way, is also another continued go-to title. Anytime I get people around that want to play a party game, like it's just top-notch quality. So there's always a revolving door of games for me. But
I love that.
It's funny. Sometimes talking about games all the time, I don't actually like play them as much in my downtime. Like I have to make sure I'm taking time to play games each week, because it just life gets busy. But
understand.
That's why the Switch is great. The Switch is fantastic for that because anywhere you're at, you can pick it up and play and put it in rest mode and continue on with other stuff and then pick it back up. So yeah,
that's sick,
wide library games right now. But I'm pretty disappointed that Nintendo didn't give us as much over the summer with new announcements. I feel like we should have the new Mario Kart Wave and all that good stuff. So,
dude, my sister and I, all three of us, we've been like, when's it going to be announced? Like, we have been waiting. So long. I'm like, it's been like, the last one was March, wasn't it? So
March,
I feel like it's about time for it to
July would make sense for it to drop, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I had this whole theory where I thought I had them figured out. I was like, okay, it's going to align with their directs because they have 3 directs a year for Nintendo. Right. They do 3 different presentations. They're going to do it at each direct, and then that'll carry us through the end of 2023 with 6 waves like they committed to. So but the fun thing about Nintendo is anytime you think you have them figured out, they swerve you just for fun. I feel like
I know. I'm actually excited to talk to you about like just Nintendo in general. I mean, we'll have a broad conversation, but I do want to talk to you about. I'm super excited I play Mario Kart all the time, dude. So if we ever have some time, I'll play some Mario Kart with you. That'd be super fun. I'm not super
absolutely.
good, but I mean, no, Mario Kart's just really chill. But yeah, dude, the courses that we got, the best one probably in my opinion was Ninja Hideaway. I didn't play Mario Kart Tour. Well, that's a lie. I did play Mario Kart Tour, then I uninstalled it because I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to play this. But the courses,
dude, I can't do mobile games, man.
I can't either.
Mario Kart Tour is good, but it's still a touch input. I did the same thing. I checked it out. I was like, oh, this is good for like it's a legit mobile Mario Kart game. But then I was just like, I'm not going to play this. So I know. It went straight to the cloud.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I just can't stand this, man. And then some of the courses on there that they picked, I'm like, I don't really like. They went with like what Choco Mountain. Like I don't care. I'm not really. I'm very nostalgic for Mario Kart 64, but I could care less about that. I'm just wondering what we're gonna get And
I hope a lot of GameCube. Did you grow up with the GameCube, or were you more like what? Like, when did you get really into Nintendo gaming? Like, what console?
Oh, brother, I've been playing Nintendo since like the NES, dude. The only console, the only console I've never owned, surprisingly, which was really weird, is the Super Nintendo. I just never got around to it for some reason. But I remember my dad. A quick side story. I remember I was like super young. We had the NES. And we were pretty, not like super rich back in the day, but I remember the NES was gone. He like gave it away. Dude, devastated. Because I had Zelda, had Mario, Duck Hunt. Yeah, I was so devastated. I was so mad at my father. But then that Christmas, I got an N64, so I made up for it. So I was like, okay, so that'll. But yeah, no, I've been playing Nintendo my whole life, dude. Yeah, GameCube. Dude, we got to get that on NSO. I'm like, dude, I watch all your videos. I'm like, dude, we need. I know, man. Dude. Like, seriously, like, so we could play. Like, I watched your video, like Twilight Princess, like Wind Waker. Yes. I was like, dude, we need to get those games on Switch somehow. Like, they need to be here. I agree. Yeah, it's very frustrating that they're not doing it.
Switch is like the most genius concept Nintendo has ever come up with. They're executing on it in a fantastic way. But the thing about Nintendo is that they value their IPs so much, almost in like a Disney or Apple type of way.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, they're still charging $60 for a 6-year-old game that, that launched with the Switch, or 5-year-old game now, or 5.5 years or whatever it is into the Switch's life cycle. Those launch games are still $60, dude, because they are the Apple of video games like that. And so whenever it comes to GameCube games, I feel like even though there's a ton of them they'll never touch and port over to the Switch, they still treat it like, oh, well, we might have a money-making opportunity with remaking this or something, so they don't want to just do a blanket approach of putting all of their classic library on the service, which if they brought GameCube to NSO, dude, it's game over. I mean, I just think like everybody's subscribing. You know what I mean?
Dude, I would absolutely. I already am, but I'd be like, that would get me to go.
Like but the problem is they're going to go up another price tier when that does happen. If it does happen, and people will happily pay it. Maybe they won't happily pay it, but they'll pay it because GameCube games are so. Oh, dude, like the retro collection. And I have kind of a sad story that popped up whenever you said about the NES and getting that like it got sold, right? Like your dad sold it. Well, so I had a situation that now I look back on like I was a complete idiot as a kid, but basically we had a game store called Game Exchange down the street, and to get the N64, we weren't too well off, so it was very much like, well, you got the Super Nintendo and all these games already, that's all we have, we're not going to get that. And I didn't know anything about gaming news or when the new consoles were coming out. All I knew is I saw my friend play a Mario game that was in 3D, and I wanted it.
Yeah.
So long story short, I traded my entire library of SNES and NES, SNES, the console, and dude, I had like Mega Man X 1 through 3, Super Mario All-Stars, like, I mean, we're talking all the marquee, like, fantastic Mario, Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3, all in fantastic condition with a lot of the boxes, the physical cardboard boxes.
Too,
yeah, and I traded all that stuff in for an N64 and Mario Bros 64. That was all I walked out of the store with, man. And so it's like, in hindsight, dude, they ripped me off, and and they were probably laughing all the way to the bank. Not the employees were, but the company, it was one of those things. I was like, dude, like looking back, like that was so much money in gaming, and then fortunately, I became a hobby once I got a job in my own place and everything. Later on, me and a buddy started going to vintage stocks and retro stores everywhere. And I've kind of slowly built up the collection again, but it's kind of crazy though to look back on some of those decisions you make.
I know, always I think about that too. I'm like, gosh, I shouldn't. Like, I remember speaking of that, I sold, and I know you talk about it on your channel all the time, dude. I sold Metroid Prime, and I was like, why did I do that? Because I got like some good money off of it. I was like, oh my gosh, I just sold one of the best games I have like ever made, and I was like, I can never find this game for cheap ever again. I was like, it's not. I'm still waiting on Metroid Prime 4. I'm waiting for the remake. I'm waiting on Metroid Prime 4. Dude, I'm waiting for all this stuff. Like, it's funny because like you talk about in your videos, and I'm so there with you. Where it's like Nintendo, they do such, like, again, I think the Switch is the best console. I mean, I got a PS5 and a Switch. I love the Switch, dude. Like, they've got some great games. They're so good about the big stuff. Like, again, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey. Like, all these games are like, top tier. Then it's like, we don't hear anything. They do this big video for Metroid. Or like, I actually really appreciate them being honest and telling us, like, it's not ready, and I give them props. But it's been like 5 years. We haven't really heard. Maybe a still image of something. And I'm like, what is this? And then also like going back to Battle League, where it's like they just did that update. I hate their sports games. I hate them.
Yeah,
I legitimately like hate them because I'm very nostalgic for Strikers. I love the one on Switch and I love the one on GameCube. I was like, I cannot wait to play. I'm almost 30. I'm gonna be 30 I'm gonna be 29 this year. I'll be 30 next year, but I'm still really nostalgic for like Mario Strikers. I was so stoked to play it. Put it in. I was like, this is the most bare bone. I put 10 hours in. I was like, I'm gonna have to wait. Dude, the update sucks. It's Daisy, Shy Guy, and a dirt, like a desert. Yeah. I'm like, this is not. Charged was just so much better. I hate it, dude.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. It worries me for Nintendo, which, by the way, I just realized we're really close in age. I'm 29, turning 30 this year. Yeah. So, but dude, their content approach cannot bleed into any other games outside of their sports games. Like, at least I know this drip feed thing is going to happen with all of the Nintendo sports games that come out right now.
Right.
But, dude, I'm like terrified of the day that we get like, a light Zelda game at launch and then, have an update roadmap. Like, I don't think they'll do that for a series, I hope not. But it still scares me that they're even playing with that approach because they wouldn't have done that before, the Wii and game. Well, of course you couldn't because there wasn't really that DLC wasn't so prevalent back then. But,
exactly, yeah.
It does scare me that we're getting to a point where the cartridges can be launched in a very light state at a full $60 retail. And then it's just here's your update roadmap for 3 free updates over the next year. It's like, how about just take the whatever time you need? You probably only need an extra 6 months of development time if you were really being serious about it, and then ship it when it's complete.
Yeah, I look at it and I'm just like, I hate this because they did it with the golf one and with then they do it with what's one the tennis
even
one
the
too?
Tennis. Yeah. Every Mario sports game on Switch has had this approach where it's like arguably it's lighter than any previous Mario sports title at launch, and then they do this content update drip feed thing, man, and I'm not for it. It's one of the things I worry about, like as I get older, I feel like I'm going to be that old man one day that's just, complaining about how gaming used to be such an incredible, honorable business. And then now it's just grimy cash grabs with update roadmaps.
Gosh, it is, dude. I mean, that's kind of where I see it going too. Like it's funny. I've actually been playing Cyberpunk again because I got the PS5 free upgrade and, I'm actually enjoying it.
What do you think about it now? Because I bought that game at launch, really hyped for it, dude, and then I dropped it because I was like, "This is terrible."
Well, what's funny is so that game was announced the year I graduated high school, like 2012. My friend. It's so weird to think about. The minute the pre-order went out, I pre-ordered it right away. I mean, everything about it. I was like, "This will be the game." I mean, I was like, I'll be honest with you, dude. I was like, "This may be my open world game. This might be Breath of the Wild a little bit because that's like my favorite, but not in the slightest anymore." I was like, I played it on. I only had PS4 at the time, dude. I couldn't even like get to like Johnny Silverhand. Like I couldn't even get to that segment of the game. Yeah. So I got my refund from PlayStation, so I was happy about that. And then I picked up a used copy for like $10. And I just upgraded for the PS5. Runs so much better, and I'm liking it. I like it pretty good. It still crashes every so often, but I'm liking it, man. Like I'm liking it a lot. I'm like, it's just.
Did they actually add in more content, or was it just a bunch of bug fixes? Because I've heard that like the update roadmap, I haven't really kept up to date with fully, but I heard that like whenever it went to the PS5 version, that was supposed to be some kind of big change. I don't know what that entailed.
So I mean, it runs better and the graphics are a little bit better, but as far as I've seen, there's really no additional content right now. There's gonna be some, and it's all gonna be free. I'm like, oh, it better be free if you guys totally. I can't imagine Nintendo doing something like that, like them releasing a bad Zelda game. But I do work. I mean, I was talking to my sister about it. I was like, dude, what if they did that with the new Breath of the Wild? What if they just released it saying like, here's the main game, and then we'll put in the side quests. It's like as a roadmap for DLC, free DLC. And my sister's like, no one would buy it. And I was like, you are correct. But no, Cyberpunk's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, I do worry that Nintendo is going to be like, we're going to try this with some other stuff. I'm like,
well, if you think about it, I'm kind of just having the thought right now that we're talking about it, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3 does have a roadmap. However, I think that's a different thing because the game's already probably like 100 hours heavy in content on its own. But that is kind of, again, just a testing the waters thing. Like the game's out, but then they have a roadmap of updates to hit, which is paid DLC also. So that's another differentiator creator. I'm okay with paying for DLC before the DLC is ready to go if it's a pre-order and it's in a pack. It's got to be a content complete game at launch, and then you can talk about new stuff. And that's, I don't know. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Smash Bros. A perfect example. That's the fighter pass with that. I honestly kind of wish it didn't end. Like I would have just been down. Yeah, I would have just been down to have a reason to boot up Smash for the foreseeable future. I mean, there's still always a reason to go back and play, but just imagine how much more stacked they could have got the character roster if there was another 4 years of support or whatever it is.
Oh man, I would have
loved through the end of the Switch.
I would have loved it, dude. And honestly, I was pretty okay. I mean, obviously, you know, I ain't no game developer, and it's like, you know, there's some characters in there I was like, I really don't like these, but there's a few in there that I was like, dude, like, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie alone, I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't need anything else. I'm fine. Dude,
I was like, one of my mains One of my mains now is King K. Rool because of how ridiculous his belly is, and just oh my god, he's just so over the top, and I love he does the whole like thing at the end of winning. He's like such a crazy character, and they gave him so much personality and such a fantastic moveset. And all my buddies are so upset whenever they think for sure I'm gone because I'm all the way down on the floor, and that propeller can rocket you all the way back up to the side of the stage.
Dude, it's so good. Like, I love that. I love King K. Rool. Dude, he's super sick. Yeah, man.
They did some great additions. I wish that was still, upcoming more additions. But I feel like we'll give Smash Bros. A rest for a while, and hopefully Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever's next gen will get it back in a big way. I think with a new game.
I think it will. I think I mean, they're not gonna like ever retire Smash. It's just too big of a game, and I'm like, I just get excited. I was really hoping. I was hoping for Crash Bandicoot. I was like, I thought for sure that was a shoe, and I was like, oh, it's got to be it. But who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe they can cut back on some of the other characters and put in some like really big ones. I don't know. I'm just like, I always speculate with my sister, like, if they made another Smash, who would you want to be in it? And we always talk about like, who we would personally want. And it's just so much fun to speculate. That's what I love about Nintendo. Again, they make these great games, and then then they just do like these weird decisions, like charging 50. Like they're so like they're really weird. It makes me want to like call Doug Bowser, like, dude, what's going on over there? Like, what are we doing?
Well, that's the problem. Is Doug Bowser would probably be like, dude, I know it's just the weirdest company I've ever worked for in my life, because I don't even think their Nintendo of America CEO has any say in almost anything that gets done. I mean, I think Reggie Fils-Aimé was probably more influential because he was that like he kind of seemed like a push the envelope open type of dude. But I feel like Doug Bowser is just a PR face, man. I feel like Nintendo in Japan is just. They're like 10 steps ahead, and they let him know what's dropping like the day before it gets announced or something like that.
It seems like that, and I always just wonder, like, they just, I don't know. There's just so many good things about it that I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, they just make weird choices. Like, it's kind of like that friend where it's like, you could be better. You can make better choices.
Yeah, you can be better. Yeah,
you could be absolutely better, dude. But that's awesome, dude. Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say, to add on to that analogy, but they're your lifelong friend, and you've grown up with them, and you care about them enough to always still keep them around. And hey, buddy, it's all right. You could do better, but you're still here. Yeah, you're still great most of the time.
Most of the time, you do really good. I'm just like, oh man, dude. But that's sick, dude. So I'm actually we kind of talked about it a little bit here. So obviously, you got this awesome YouTube channel. I'm very proud of your success, dude, by the way. Thank you. You've really have been gaining some traction. I saw one video where looks like you had a sponsorship in there, dude, from was it Squarespace?
Skillshare. First time sponsorship. Yeah, I was pretty excited for that.
How did that come to be? Are you allowed to share about that?
Yeah, I can tell you. I mean, it's just I did learn that apparently a lot of these brands don't actually do the sponsorships directly themselves. I think there are people that work in that department, but there's a lot of like companies that their jobs are to go find content creators that would be a good fit for whatever the said sponsorship is.
Sure.
And so they will do like I get emails now because like on the YouTube channel under the about section, you could add in like a business email address or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it can be any email address, but you'll just get emails from companies wanting to collaborate, and most of the time it's like up to this point it's been very small startup, like we have this product on Amazon, and I'm very picky on if I'm going to get behind a brand, and Skillshare is actually one that I used to learn a lot of my editing techniques in Adobe Premiere, because dude, before I got into this whole content creation thing, like I thought I was a tech guy already, and you get into a editor app, like a hardcore video editor app, and I was like so like overwhelmed with like all the options and everything on there.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they did a deal, and we should have a few more still coming in the works. But yeah, it's basically a third party putting a deal on the table. This is what we could do if you wanted to do a 45 to 90-second ad integration, and then you have to do a little whole terms and conditions thing type of deal, and then. Yeah, it was weird doing like my first, like they give you talking points. So they send you like a little deck of, kind of like the essential points to talk about, but they really allow you to actually create your own message for it. And like, so when I was going through it and filming it, I was like, man, this feels so weird to like be doing a paid sponsorship on. I've been super, super happy with, the trajectory of the channel and how it's been growing and everything. So hopefully it just continues, dude. I absolutely love this. And yeah, it's definitely like the long-term goal is just to do this and this alone,
Yeah, and you're getting pretty close, aren't you, to just doing this as your job, essentially?
I think so. Yeah. I'm hopeful within the, I don't want to put any too quick of a timeline on it because I'm prepared for it to take longer. But if everything keeps going the way it has been, I'm hoping within the next couple of years at least. That being like the long end of it that I would like to, But whatever the case is, man, it's still a passion project. So it's like even if if everything got too busy in real life, I would always just make time for when I can post a video. But I'm gonna make sure I stick to a frequently posting schedule to make sure everything keeps growing. So, because I just love it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I could tell that you love it, man. That's one thing that I really liked. As I said, I really liked about your videos that you could tell that you're just a genuine dude. You love video games, and I think I get most of my video game news from you now, dude. So I'm like,
awesome.
Thank you, because I'm like, I really like, I liked it because again, I'm so busy with work, and I do, all these. I get a lot of bands that reach out to me, or I actually have a couple of labels I've been talking to that have like worked with me, saying like, hey, if you react to this, we'll whitelist your video, which means I can just claim the ad revenues essentially.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I've just been so busy with that, and it's like, man, I keep forgetting my passion for video games. So every time you pop up, I'm like, when I'm editing a video, I'm like, oh dude, Mark uploaded a video, thank goodness. I gotta see what's new, because honestly, like, there's been a few updates and stuff, or like there'll be a new games dropping for like the NSO. I'm like, I had no idea this was dropping. So yeah, dude, your videos are incredibly helpful, and I really hope that you're able to achieve that dream, dude. And you absolutely deserve it. I think out of most people I've talked, you absolutely deserve it. You're so nice. So you. Oh
well, thank you, man. Hey, likewise to you, dude. And that's like, I told you via text and everything, but man, I was so happy to hop on the podcast with you, because like that's what I gravitate towards in people too, is just like genuine kindness, and you can kind of tell how people interact with you back and forth on like, just their demeanor. And I just got nothing but like all just green flags. Go ahead. There's like, talk to this dude, get to know him. Like I definitely get those vibes from you, man. So yeah, I'm excited to get to talk to you more. And, so whatever topics you steer the conversation, I'm here for it, dude.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, dude. Yeah. I love coming on your videos because I'll actually get some other people little comment back. There was one guy. Yeah. I don't know if you saw this one, but I laughed so hard. I know you get so many comments, but I think it's awesome. But it's like, there was one, I said something on your video, and some guy's like, he's like, he's not the only one that reports on video game news. Like, oh, well, no, like, him and I are like friends. He's like, what, do you kiss him or something? I was like, dude, it's like, what? It's hilarious.
Internet gaming culture and so fandom is just, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. And, it's so fun in like all of the aspects of seeing like, dude, like it makes my day whenever people comment like similar to yours, where you're like, oh man, I wouldn't be able to keep up with all the news without videos like this. Yeah. And then there's people who are like, oh yeah, dude, on my drive home from work, you're what I listen to every day. I always look forward to the stuff like that is fantastic, and one of the highlights of creating those videos. Yeah. Then you have that like small percentage of people that it's like you really question what's going on in their lives, that they take the time out of their day, to get. I realized I had made it but made progress, I will say, whenever I had somebody that told me in the comments that they turned on notifications to dislike my videos whenever they went live. So I was like, okay, well, we've hit all ends of the spectrum now that somebody's actually okay with, you know, taking time to see that Sunbro's video. I'm going to dislike that.
Yeah,
okay, dude.
People are hilarious, dude. You know, you look at it, you're just like, it's okay. Honestly, little they know that even like dislikes and comments help the algorithm.
Oh,
so it's like,
that's one of my favorite things to do. If somebody gets really worked up and they're just all animated in the comments and just, you can tell they're just heated behind. Like I always picture them, you know, just wanting to type in all caps. They're just ready to go off. And one of my favorite things to do is to heart the comment, and then I reply and I say, well, listen, man, I just appreciate you commenting because it helps the YouTube algorithm share this video to more people. And,
Absolutely.
you know, and it's like, and it's kind of funny because it's not argumentative. It's not, you know, like every now and then I'll get smart with a reply, but for the most part, I'll try to reply to an angry comment with that because it kind of just like, what do you say back to that? You know what I mean? It's just,
absolutely.
It's like,
I know.
Well, I guess I did help out his channel. Well, that wasn't my intention. You know, it's like, great.
Yeah.
keep doing that. Thanks. You know,
exactly, dude. Yeah. I get that a lot too, where a lot of people are like, dude, this song sucks. I don't agree with your opinion. I'm like, well, that's okay. At least you commented, and then they just go on and on about it. I'm like, dude, you're helping out, dude. So it's okay. Like, it really is fine. I'm like, I have no problem with that. So no, man. No, I'm really happy for our success. I am excited. We will dive into kind of like, you know, how you got started and stuff here. But I guess for those, I mean, when I bring people on, I like to get to know like the real them and kind of like, you know, obviously we have, you know, Sunbro Nation that he talked about video games, but obviously he is a human as well. And so, my dude, correct. What do you, so obviously, you know, you have this dream of doing YouTube full time, which again, I really hope, like, I watch people like, is it RGT85 and like beat him up? So I'm like, dude, Mark's gonna get there, man. I mean, you're already you're at like 33 something, 33,000.
Yeah, just hit 34 like as of a day ago. So it's trucking along. Really happy with the growth so far.
Man. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna, dude. I mean, a career in video games that's awesome, dude. I mean, that's like
it's such a wild time to be alive. Like the fact, and it feels so weird. Like, I mean, we can dive into like the starting it stuff if you'd like to, but I mean, just to be a person talking to a camera in a room, like I'm sure you kind of probably felt that when you're starting out. It's so strange whenever you don't, like, you do realize there's people on the other end of it, but it's just like a weird you know, thing to get comfortable doing, where you talk to a camera and you're just sharing your opinions, but you're alone in a room. Like, you kind of feel like a little bit crazy when you first like sit down to do it, and then you realize that it's like, okay, people enjoy this. It's worth, like, you get some validation to continue it, you know, forward. But yeah, it's a wild time to be alive. That's just like, you know, if we could go back a few generations, I could tell like my great grandpa that like this is a thing that is going to pay the bills. He'd be like, yeah, you need to learn some trade skills. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. You know,
exactly, dude. And I think that's, I just think that's awesome that we have the ability, you know, to do that. You know, I'm not there yet. Obviously, you know, doing reactions a little bit harder just because a lot of my videos get they're ineligible for monetization. But again, there's sometimes a label that'll help you out, which is really good. And
but dude, you've done the hardest part, man, because once you get past, that's what I've found is like once you get past that like initial, like you have to have like a little bit of a following, I guess, to kind of have like I guess it's weird, but on the internet, I feel like there's some kind of like number validation that people have in their mind, but it's like so hard to get out of that like 100, 200, 300 subscriber range. And, you know, you're going strong over three. What are you at now? 3.5, something like that?
3,613, I think. So we're getting
there. You go, man. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Like that, just feel like, you know, it's like I've always felt like I'm very hard on myself on growth and stuff too, even if it's just a few down months and things. But just remember, like, getting the snowball going at all is always the most difficult part. So I mean, you've already done the bulk of the work. You just got to keep doing your thing, you know.
I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, the passion's not gone yet. So I mean, I absolutely love what I do. So it's just so fun, dude. And I just also really quick, I haven't got to tell you, thanks for support on Patreon, dude. You've been a patron.
For sure, happy to do it.
You've been a patron forever, and I'm like, dude, I really appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much.
Hey,
dude.
No, thank you too, man. I mean, for real, like, it's one of those things that I just, you know, right out of the gate, I was super excited. I was like, this is a cool dude. Definitely want to keep this connection going. And so, I mean, I get the monetization thing because I can't even have like a, you know, a copyrighted anything song play and So it's like, so I figure it's like, yeah, that's the way you're going to make your financially on your channel. You'll probably make a lot of your money that way. I'm sure sponsorships and other things too, but happy to support, dude, and well deserved also. Because like I said, like similar to you, I get out of the loop with like the metal news and new bands dropping, and you've sent me tracks that I've listened to and been like go-tos at the gym now and things like that.
Dude, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure. So like that's a two-way street. You help me keep up with one of my passions that I haven't actually been able to spend as much time doing recently. So
yeah, dude, I love that, man. Thank you. Yeah, dude, life's been so busy with like just like music and stuff. Also appreciate the love on the song I did. It was cool that you shared it. I really appreciate that. We are working on some new stuff. So it's
cool.
A little more melodic this time around. A little more I can't really say much, but it's very
I understand.
Yeah, it's very a lot different than the other songs.
Well, you got the voice for it, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
Thanks,
dude.
For
sure. Like I was very impressed. Yeah. I was like, heck yeah, man, this guy's got it.
Dude, most people are like, I don't believe you. And then they see me like, what? I'm like, yeah. Dude, I've been doing that since high school, man. I've been doing it for so long. Awesome. Yeah, dude, it's been definitely a passion of mine. So, but yeah, man. So what do you do for work besides Sunbro Nation? Like, what do you do? Like when you're not making videos? Yeah.
Yeah, like a mixture of cell phone sales is what I've really built literally most of my like. Okay, so I'll give you the history of my job rundown.
I'm excited actually.
Yeah. So like when I was like 16, that was around the time or shortly thereafter of like the whole like economy crashing and everything like that. And so my family was in a pretty hard like place financially, and my dad was like, "Well, you're 16, it's time to go get a job." And I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to do that." Like I was playing computer games, Nintendo games every day. Like definitely enjoyed it. So I went and worked at this place called Lenny's Sub Shop, and I was there for like 2 years. And just slicing, deli meat and all that good stuff. It was right next to a T-Mobile that was a store there that basically I was always into technology, like out of the gate. I mean, VCRs back in the day, I would take we had one that didn't work. I would take it apart for fun to see how it worked and put it back together. And I think I may have actually messed it up worse, but I mean, I've always just had that, that natural drive for tech. And, so that translated into phones whenever phones were really starting to become like, I mean, my first phone when I was 17 was a Samsung Messenger 2 that I bought from Cricket that had the slide out keyboard, but it wasn't quite a smartphone. You know what I mean? It was like that transitional. We were just starting to text more, and people, you could look at the weather and stuff like that on there. So anyway, long story short, the manager would come into that Lenny's Sub Shop from the T-Mobile every day for lunch, and I would always be talking to him about like the new phones that were about to come out because I actually cared about that stuff. Yeah. And that Lenny's Sub Shop actually really broke me out of my shell socially because I just wasn't ever like that much of an outgoing person, and they would like force you, like you're going to greet the customers and you're going to ask them how their day is going and all that stuff. And dude, I found out I like to talk to like people that I have no clue who they are and just get some cool back and forth going. And so anyway, I talked to the manager and he's like, dude, you really need to come over and like start working on commission because like, dude, you care about this stuff and you could do it, and they had hourly and commission. So it was going to be an upgrade for me. So I spent like 6 to 8 years between different cellular companies. And then I still do like on the, like when I get any extra time when I'm not working on videos, I'm doing like gig apps and stuff like that, like DoorDash deliveries and all that good stuff. Wow. So yeah, so I mean, I'm hustling, dude, just to try to make make sure everything's paid, and then also kind of I'm trying not to use so much of the YouTube money for other than just like to kind of reinvest back into the channel. Like I'm using some of it to pay the bills and things like that, but at the same time, just always try. Like, dude, one thing I will tell you is like taxes are a real thing on self-generated revenue and all of that. So the bulk of my entire history outside of just that sub shop experience has been in the cell phone industry. And then just also like, if I have free time and I'm not doing anything, like I'll hop on a delivery app and make $15-20 here or there, just do some quick drop offs. So
see, I didn't know about the whole. So are you still there now, the cell phone place? Or?
Yes. Well, I'm transitioning to a new company right now as we speak. So that's where I kind of have a little bit of extra time right now. Like in the next couple weeks, I'll be with a new one.
That makes sense, dude. Do you want to know something funny? For some reason in my head, I thought you were like a carpenter. I don't know. I just see him like I don't know why.
Yeah, that's probably like the worst skill set that I have is anything in like building things and fix. I will tell you though, like being so like a few years back, finally was able to become a homeowner, and that teaches you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
That teaches you a lot of stuff because you're your own landlord. So if something goes wrong, I'm not trying to bring people out and pay them. So I figured out a lot on YouTube with how to do basic around the house repairs. But but that's definitely, that was not my strong point. It's always been talking about tech and just talking in general.
Yeah, so, dude. Honestly, I didn't know you were a homeowner, dude. That's sick. Do you live with your fiance? I assume.
Yes,
dude.
Yes.
Oh man.
So we're hoping to get married soon. It's just the bills for figuring out a wedding, and then also we got engaged just shortly before the whole pandemic broke out and everything. So we were just kind of like, we'll revisit this down the road a little bit later on. So yeah.
Well, congratulations, dude. I think that's wonderful. I had no.
Thank you.
Honestly, that's why I like doing podcasts with people to get to know them, because I was like, if I talk to them outside of and ask those questions, like that would be such good information for the podcast. I'm sure, honestly, it's going to obviously go on my channel, but I'm sure people who know you are going to be like, that's actually really cool. I didn't know this about Mark. Like, because obviously they see like the video game guy, but then I think people forget, like, dude, this is a real guy who has to pay bills and is going to hopefully get married soon and is busy. And so I think it'll be really cool for people to see that, dude. So that's actually awesome. That's actually really good for you, dude. Seriously, I'm really happy for you, dude.
Hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot. It's been a long journey to get to this point, and it's still ongoing. There's endless goals. We're gonna have kids one day and all that stuff. So it's like I'm not gonna run out of things to like keep me working and busy and all that stuff.
For sure, man.
I'm loving life for sure, man. And I agree with you. Like it's definitely a good thing to do things like long form podcasts and just have an actual conversation, because that is part of what happens with online content. Is you're like, most of the people who will probably come over from my channel and watch this, like there's like that percentage that actually do start to care about you as a person and want to know more about you. But like you definitely get put into kind of like a category of like, oh, he's it's almost like a utility for gaming news.
For sure.
Like, I go to Sunbro for my gaming news, and that's like, so like that's why you'll see certain videos that have great topics that people want to learn about. Do 20K views, and then you'll have other videos do like 3-4K views, because it's like depending on all that kind of stuff. So it's cool to have that platform, and definitely thank you again for inviting me on, that we can actually kind of talk about that back and forth. And I would love to know more about you too, man. Like, I mean, what's going on in your life? Like,
dude. Oh man,
have any cool stuff you want to share? No. I'm all ears.
Yeah, dude. Look, I absolutely. I'm more than happy just to just tell you what's going on in my life, dude. So things have been pretty chill. I just been working a lot. I work at a Dairy Queen, dude. I'm a cook at a Dairy Queen.
Very nice.
So it's a family-owned business. So I mean, I've worked there before previously, but then I lost my other job, so I figured I'll just go back and do that. But what's nice about with like Patreon, and some bands reach out to me like through PayPal and stuff, like I'm able to get some money that way, which is really nice. A lot of bands they'll email me saying like, hey, we'll pay you to do this reaction. So I'll get some.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll get some compensation with that, which is great, because a lot of these bands need the promotion. It's not like Metallica, where you hear them on the radio, like no metalcore band's going to be on the main street. Like reactors are kind of like the new radio for metal, I guess. Like, a lot of people.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of people love that, and so I actually, I mean, we've already talked about it. I can say, like, I plan on proposing to my girlfriend hopefully in January. She already knows that.
Congratulations, man! That makes my day to hear that. Dude.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
Awesome.
So, I mean, it's not like I'd be hilarious. She listens like, you were? No, she already knows.
Yeah,
sure. We're one of the people like we've talked about it. So probably in January I will propose to her. She lives actually in Florida, so I'm gonna move there sometime next year. So that's why I'm just saving up.
Wow, that's exciting.
Saving up, just getting an apartment down in Florida, and kind of work things out here. I'm gonna try to finish up school. Gonna try to become a mental health counselor. So trying to finish that up, dude.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah, man, because a lot of my channel is about mental health, and that's kind of cool. Like, a lot of people reach out to me, they just want to talk about how they feel, because they feel like they don't have a lot of people to talk to them about that, which I'm like, so I get my Twitter now and my Instagram get flooded with like people who just want to talk, and I try my best to reply to everybody. But it's been a great opportunity to help people, because I've always wanted to help people, and music is a great way. I think some great therapy. And so, yeah, I always just try to, help people, try to be open with them because I struggle myself too. So I try to tell them like, it's going to be all right. And we talk about just things in life that are hard, but how we can overcome them. And it kind of, my girlfriend kind of told me, like, no, you'd be a really good like therapist. And so I was like, you know what, I think that'd actually be a good job. So I was like, I'm going to finish up my generals and then study to do that while I'm in Florida. So it should be pretty good. So life's
that's great.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, dude. Life's, life for me, life has, had its ups and downs, definitely been hard, but going back to therapy myself and trying to, figure life out has definitely helped. So, it's definitely nice to get that, that clear mindset again, because I was in a pretty dark place for a little while. It's hard to kind of bounce back from that, but therapy has really helped. And again, people reaching out to me wanting to talk has been it's been wonderful. Been absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
People need other people. And I think that's one of the things like with online nowadays is it's like we're both more connected and then also kind of more alone than ever before, in a lot of different ways, or people definitely feel that. So that's cool that you have that passion to actually try to share, your experience. And then also just being able to talk to people is such a thing that it's like, if you can be real with other people, then they will gravitate towards that. And I feel like a lot of people do just need to talk, and they just need to talk through it, out loud with another human being that can at least somewhat relate to them or not judge them or not, whatever the case is, so that's really cool that you're into that, man. I'm very admirable for sure. Like that you care about other people's personal problems, because there's just so much of a mentality of like that. I'm focusing on me. I can't worry about anybody else.
Exactly.
So to give back a little bit is fantastic, man. That's great.
I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Yeah, and a lot of people seem to walk away happier, which is great. It's cool because it's like a lot of the music I listen to, and I'm sure you can probably, because you listen to the same music, a lot of it's about like, a lot of like mental health stuff, like, like Wage War. I know you're a fan of Wage War. A lot of their music is really about like mental health and stuff. And so like Wage War is like my favorite band. Wearing a shirt right now for them, dude. And like I always love it. Yeah, I love like my favorite thing is taking like the music's kind of like a stepping stone for me to help out. So like for example, I can like talk about the message of the song, and then I can share a story. Like I've gone pretty personal with some of the stories I've talked about in my videos, and I've had a few times where I've even like cried with some of the songs where it just kind of brings up certain emotions. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for people for being like so kind, and they'll message me on Instagram saying like, dude, like I felt the same way and I'm going through this right now. And it's just really cool to have, like, obviously our communities are a little bit different, but like the metal community, at least what I'm in right now, is like, they're so wonderful. And I'm friends with so many other reactors too, and like kind of hearing their opinions on stuff. It's fantastic. And I love, and believe it or not, most people, because I go pretty crazy in my videos, like with the reactions, but I am actually a pretty introverted guy. Like I'm pretty to myself. The only time I really leave the house is to go to work or go on a walk, but I don't really socialize really with that many people. So YouTube's definitely helped me give me that, help me kind of come out of my shell a little bit and kind of like, talk to more people. And because I'm able to do that, people have reached out. It's been honestly like such a blessing. Like it's been fantastic, dude. So yeah, man, no, I appreciate you asking. Thank you. I think it's cool that you have an interest as well. I think that, again, that's what I can just like, sometimes you can just tell with people in videos that they're just a really good person, and I felt that about you. From it just sounds like we're simping on one another, and I don't but I really do mean it. Like, dude, like I really feel like we've been friends for like ever, just because I'm like, he is a total bro, and he's super nice and he's super chill, and we like a lot of the same things. So yeah, I appreciate you asking, dude. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, dude. Yeah, dude. So yeah, let's get into I'm gonna say nitty gritty, but it's not that bad. But so let's go ahead and talk about your channel a little bit more. We got to know you a little bit. Let's go and dive into your channel. So I did some research on you here. I went back to the very bottom of your very first video, and I watched a lot of videos the other night to prepare for this podcast, so I would have questions to ask. And even from the get-go, dude, and I mean this sincerely, like if you watch some of my earlier videos, it's kind of like, hey guys, welcome back to Chandler Burton Entertainment. We're gonna rock out. It's so awkward. But with you were just very energetic, like out the gate. I was like, this guy's like this is really good. So what inspired you to start this channel? Like, was it just because like you love video games, or you just want to bring news to people? Like, what like inspired you to start Sunbro Nation? I actually don't know, so I'm very curious to see like what inspired you.
Yeah, for sure. So it's really like I was such a consumer of YouTube, man. Like I grew up in that prime era of just like, I mean, it's still great and it's not slowing down. Clearly, it's YouTube is a household thing now. But I was on it when it was the square box with the 1 through 5 stars that you could rate videos way back in the day. And man, it was just like I was so much more like I was drawn to watch that content more than anything on TV. Or I mean, I'm still huge into TV and movies and all that stuff too. But I mean, really, like YouTube was like I felt such value from what people would do, whether it was tech reviews, or I would find out about new music through it, or or the gaming news style of thing. And, not even just the news aspect, but I would learn stuff about games that I absolutely loved. Like one of the videos, I think it's from Did You Know Gaming, did like a break. Yeah. So they did a breakdown of the history of Mario Bros 2 and how it released in the US as Mario Bros 2, but that was really a completely different game called Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah.
That was, one of those things that like in Japan, because they thought the Mario Bros The Lost Levels, which is what Mario Bros 2 was in Japan, they thought was too hard for Western gamers. So they decided to completely shift and make a completely different game. Anyway, videos like that really stuck out to me as like, oh dude, like I want to be in the know of like the next level of details behind games that I care about. That turned into all this like Zelda history timeline videos, all these different things. GameTrailers.com used to be a really big thing, but not quite as big anymore.
Yeah,
but dude, they had a entire like Zelda chronological timeline type of thing that they broke down how they thought all the games connected before we had the official chronological order from Nintendo themselves. So anyway, so to say all that is basically that's like I've always been such a consumer of it and have enjoyed it so much. And I'm like, I got to do something with this. And I would talk about it with my friends, roommates that I grew up with that I'm really close to still to this day. I would just sit there and talk to them like, man, I want to do this too. I just don't know like how to start or what to even, like what to cover on the channel. I have no clue. So it started with, I originally was going to do like retrospective style videos. And the idea was I bought a capture card and I emulated, and I owned them on the handheld, but I decided to emulate the versions of Ocarina of Time 3DS and Majora's Mask 3DS. And dude, I played through the entire game, Ocarina of Time 3D first, and I just captured all my footage. And then I realized that because I had planned to make a video on that it gave me a reason to play that game. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I feel like, because at that point in time, I was so busy with work, there has definitely been gaps where I've actually like been so exhausted that I come home and I watch a show, but I won't game at all. And luckily now I've found somewhat of a balance that I can keep up with all the major games that I care about at least enough. But at that point in time, it was giving me a reason to play games again. Well, I just sat around. It's funny that you say like you feel like they were good out of the gate. Like, dude, it's probably just because I was waiting for like 6 to 9 months to even just make that first video in preparation. I was like such a perfectionist in my mind. I wanted everything to be like a AAA channel out of the gate. I heard people say you just got to start somewhere, but I would get really caught up for the longest time on like I don't know what direction I'm going to go in or anything. And so anyway, those Zelda videos never ended up happening. What ended up happening is while I was waiting on figuring out how to edit that stuff together, and I was going to write out a script and do all this stuff. Well, then Demon's Souls remake gets announced for the PS5, which I'm a huge Souls fan. That's actually the reference for the channel Sunbro Nation. Sunbro comes from Dark Souls. It's a covenant inside of really it goes back to Dark Souls 1. But there's a Warrior of Sunlight. Anyway, me and my buddies ended up calling each other Sunbros. So like we'll get on the phone and like, what's up, Sunbro? How you doing? So like that's literally
cool. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the inner circle of friends all call each other Sunbros. Like that's pretty much where that came from, because we were all so heavy into that game together. Like we would play it before. We didn't stream it or anything, but we'd play it online, all in the PlayStation party chat, and would even set up our cameras so we could basically we would film that stuff with the intention to maybe put it out there, and then we never ended up doing anything. But essentially that's where that whole thing came from. And then one day I was just like, you know what, I need to talk about this whole Demon's Souls remake thing coming out. And then that was my very first video, because it had just dropped, and I was just like, I'm just gonna make a video on this. And I remember I told myself like, I'm gonna finally listen to all these YouTube people I've been talking about growing your channel. I'm just gonna do it. And so I just I didn't even know exactly how to do it, but I figured out through OBS to let the trailer play on repeat in the back. And then I kind of talked through my initial impressions of it.
Yeah.
And then I got done with that and I was like, that was fun. Like, it was kind of cool to talk about a game that I'm excited about that's not out yet. And I just put it on the channel. That's the first video on there. Then from there was like, I think like an Elden Ring news update or something that I found when we still didn't know a whole lot about that game. And it kind of mentioned some stuff that hadn't been talked about anywhere else that I could remember at the time anyway. And so I decided to do, okay, well, I guess I'm going to do like a news style video around this. And I'm just going to try to cover Elden Ring news as it comes out. And then it was like a few videos into that. I think I even tried something along the lines of, have you ever seen the YouTube channel Austin John Plays?
Oh, I love that guy. I love that guy. Yeah.
He's fantastic, right? Yeah. So then I had an idea of like, he does like these gameplay guides and stuff, and Ghost of Tsushima had just come out for the PS4. And I was like, I'm going to do some gameplay guides on this game and try to like, you know, I think I may have done a news video on that first, and then I tried the guide. I can't remember the exact order that it went in, but basically I did some stuff with Ghost of Tsushima. And then ultimately, like, these are all just the ideas as they're coming in. I was like, I'm going to do some gameplay style videos. I'm going to try to do some really next level, like, how to do each section of each game and go into depth about it and just narrate over it. And then I found myself, there was a Nintendo Direct rumor online or something that was coming up, and I did that, and it gained some traction. And then I also realized that, wait a minute, even though I do enjoy and am fully invested in a series like Dark Souls, Nintendo has always been my biggest passion when it comes to games. And it's like, I could talk about a few Sony franchises here or there, so God of War being one of them that I could go on and on about.
Oh yeah,
dude, so quality, so quality. But outside of that, like outside of a few IPs that Sony has and even Xbox games that I grew up playing, like I don't have that level of passion behind them. And so anyway, so that's where the first idea came, that I was like, maybe I'm going to start focusing on more Nintendo news. Then something really interesting happened with the channel, which some of these videos I've since delisted, but really helped blow it up. And I did that for, I can explain, but apparently YouTube, if you get if you're you're just starting out and you get some videos that blow up, if new people subscribe to you, they're going to be shown that content, that your most popular uploads, on their news feed. So once I wasn't doing this topic anymore, I decided to delist some of these videos. That's the reason behind it. But for a while, I was actually tracking PlayStation 5 restocks, because
I remember that.
I don't know if you know. If you do, then you do. But it's still hard to find. But at one point in time, it was so impossible to find that there was an entire flood of content creators that just talking about it, like when the next restock was going to happen at a Walmart or a Target or something like that, was getting a ton of views. And I was like, this kind of feels cool. I'm helping people find their new consoles. I had so many comments flying in like, oh, Sunbro, thanks so much. You were right about the Target 6 a.m. drop I got this morning. Like, you know, they like some really positive reinforcement. I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to stay on this train for a little while. So I had numerous restock videos hit on around the PlayStation 5. But then it also occurred to me as like, well, two things. This is not long term, you know, for one. There's not, I'm not going to just be a restock channel. And then also, it just started to become kind of the same conversation. It was like, create a Twitter account, follow restock tracker accounts, and as soon as any restocks happen, that'll be your quickest way to maybe secure a PS5. And so ultimately I was like, you know what? I look back at those Nintendo videos that I'd done throughout, and I was like, I think this is the direction I want to take the channel, is just Nintendo news. I have the most to say about them. They're my biggest passion when it comes to gaming. And I realized at that point in time that I could commit myself to do more daily regular content as opposed to like long form edited, because I realized that I actually enjoy, being energetic about new topics that come out, reacting to things, speculating about news that hasn't dropped yet. Like that was actually starting to become the most fun of the channel for me. So I was like, all right, this is the path. And then I would say it's probably been like a solid year and a half that it's been like entirely exclusively Nintendo news driven, with an occasional Sony story in there if it's really big or something like that. Yeah. And one day I may branch into the other consoles. Like, I mean, I'm sure you know Spawnwave. He's like the godfather of daily gaming news, but, and a ton of respect for that guy. I think he's awesome, and the formula he's created is fantastic. But You know, maybe I branch into a little bit of that, but I definitely think like Nintendo will be like the more center theme for the channel, just because I mean it's literally like when I talk about my hype levels for a Nintendo Direct or something that Nintendo's going to announce, dude, like it's like legitimately real, and I feel like that's what I can share the most with the audience. So
I love
that's kind of the whole transitional path of all the different videos and how they've come about. But
yeah. And I love, thank you for sharing that. What I really like about it is like, you know, it's cool how like, you know, again, like for anybody listening that wants to start any type of YouTube channel, like you look at your journey where it kind of started out, you're just excited about a game and you're like, it's cool. And then you kind of figured out along the way, like, I feel like so many people just want to like be perfect. And it's like, you know, even myself, like I went through like, you know, trying to figure out how I want to do reactions, or again, you've gone through like, you know, what do you want to talk about? And then, yeah, your Nintendo videos, like all your, like watching from your older stuff to your newer stuff, everyone loves your Nintendo videos. And I actually I've seen your video where you covered like the Sony, like state of play, like I think like, you know, a couple of games were announced there. So I've been watching videos forever. And so like, yeah, I've seen you branch out, and to do other things, but I love your journey and how like now you're so like really comfortable with your videos. Like you just like, you're very professional, but you're very like energetic while you do it. I think it's really cool. You actually answered one of my questions where it's like, why don't you want to cover more of like the Xbox play, but you kind of just answer it. And I figured it because Nintendo was your passion. It's mine too. Like I love PlayStation, but Nintendo is what I think it's what most people, you know, grew up with. Like I honestly prefer, like, I'm not really a big like Call of Duty guy. Like I prefer like Breath of the Wild or like Super Mario Odyssey to like the new Call of Duty any day of the week, without question.
Right.
So yeah, Nintendo's definitely, I've always had, you know, my heart. But yeah, dude, I think it's awesome. I do want to ask you, because I'm very curious, because I feel like what you do is super awesome, but there's one part of the job that would probably stress the crap out of me. How do you, and the thing is though, one thing I will say about you as well, dude, is I love your consistency. I love how every day, it may not be the same times, now you got to work and do stuff, but there's a video every day, and I give you props for that. And I also love your weekend videos where you just kind of go, like I was watching your video playing Wind Waker, I was like, man, I haven't seen this game in a trillion years, dude. And it was fun to go back and revisit with you, man. How do you, and I'm really curious about this, how do you find, because I was going to ask you, I guess we'll tie into this question as well, so please take your time with it.
For sure.
So how do you find the news to talk about? Like, how do you like, you're like, okay, I want to make like a 10-minute video. How do you find all the news to talk about? And then also, if you don't mind as well, like if you could just take us through like your editing process. Like I know we kind of talked about, you know, you said use Dolby Premiere, I think you said is what you used.
Right.
So yeah, take us through, if you don't mind, take us through how you find the news, because like for me that would be so stressful. I'd be like, I can't find anything to talk about, but you always have something to talk about. Like again, I had no idea about the Switch app update. I mean, it's been deleted off my phone forever, but I was like, I thought about that when I was at work today. I was like, he knows all this that most people wouldn't know. And I think it's so cool you can find that information. Yeah, if you don't mind, how do you find the info? Take us through the editing process. Like, how does that all work for you?
Yeah, for sure. So it's really just in terms of finding the news at first, there's like kind of like respected sources, and then some ones that kind of go too out far on a limb and cover things that are just like could be nonsense, and I've kind of figured out which ones to stick to. And you can also look to other content creators that have a reliable track record and things that will cover, you know, reputable websites. And I've definitely found a few that I use as my go-to, such as you'll probably notice like VGC is a big gaming news site that, one, I love the way their articles are typed. Two, they're not covering like the most outlandish stuff. You can find like really small gaming write-up stories that you can almost, there's people that think they know the entire title and content of Breath of the Wild 2 right now on some, you know, gaming journalist website or whatever. But it's like, so I don't want to go out that far on a limb where you're reporting on things that are just completely have no basis to them. So VGC is one that's good for all the factual stuff. There is a website called NintendoNews.com that actually it actually pulls in feeds from multiple other, like they are not Nintendo News themselves, but they pull in feeds from Nintendo Everything, VGC, They pull in from Eurogamer, if it has Nintendo related content that they're covering. So that's like a central hub that I scroll through the entire list. And when I tell you anything that's Nintendo that's mentioned is like brought up in a new tab, like it populates on their list. It's like, so I can literally scroll through and see just about anything that 3 or 4 different major gaming websites have talked about. And so it's pretty much every morning just about starts with like when I'm just waking up trying to get myself ready for the day and stuff. I'm like scrolling through the news articles that were posted, and I'm trying to kind of go through in my head at that point, like, is there something that I have to add to this story? And like with stuff like the Nintendo Switch Online app update, like you probably know because I've been pretty vocal about it, like, why does Nintendo not have on-platform party chat or even a messaging system of any kind?
Oh, that's stupid. The whole, the friend code, like, what are we for? I hate that friend code thing, dude. I'm like, it's so... No, I agree. I watched your video today when I was at work, and I was like, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I was like, dude, I absolutely... Again, like, they are... like we talked about at the beginning, they're literally like that friend that you're like, oh, you're such a good friend, but I just want to smack you on the head sometimes, and you're just like,
that's right.
What is this? Like, I could literally, for example, if we want to play Mario Kart, I would just call you here. Like, I'm not gonna call on the Nintendo Switch Online. Like, Discord is way better if we're gonna talk. But no, please continue.
No, you're good. In a perfect world, I hope that all the console manufacturers partner with Discord, and we're all just using a Discord app on whatever.
Be the best. Yeah,
it would solve everything. We're already going towards more multi-platform online experiences with games. Like, it's time for that kind of thing to happen. But Nintendo will probably do that in 2035. So we'll see whenever they,
God, we'll be like 6 years old. You'll still be talk about the Nintendo dude. It's like, it's gonna be a brand new. Here we go. Like, I'm ready, dude. Yeah, but what were you saying? Yeah.
No, you're good. So basically what I'm looking for when I'm looking for news articles is not just the updates that happen, but stuff that I could conversationally add to, because I've kind of based my channel around that. I guess you could compare it to similar channels. Like, I mean, RGT does it a lot too, where there might only be 2 stories, but you're kind of sharing like your whole perspective on that story a little bit more, as opposed to it just being the headline and then you move on. So like I enjoy that, because that's how I talk about things with my friends. Like if I'm trying to tell them about something, like I'm telling them, did you hear that this news dropped? And then I think all these things about it, so like I've definitely leaned into that aspect, and that's what I enjoy doing, is sharing like my opinion on the news. I love that. Yeah, so that's kind of so I'm looking for things that, do Nintendo gamers care about this? Do Switch gamers care about these updates? Nintendo Switch Online has been a gift that keeps on giving, because of course there's just a lot happening with the service, and people care about it, whether they're enraged and furious and they want to go sound off in the comments about that, or if they just want to see what was added, like regardless, and they're excited for the service. Like that's another type of thing that I tend to go to a lot, just because it's like, okay, gamers are engaged with this, they care about it, and I have a lot of opinions around it. So that's my thought process with getting the stories, and then reading through them. I normally type out just a few bullet points in my notes app, and like just to kind of keep on track of like, did I drive home this point or that point, and then everything else is just really me talking off the cuff, just like me and you here. Yeah. But from there, whenever talking about bringing it into the editing side of things, which definitely has become a smoother process over the course of time, because those first videos, I was not uploading daily. I was spending all day figuring out how to finish one video. I mean, legitimately, it's gotten better just the more you learn the application and things like that. But I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I record straight through OBS, so like the same way that I'm talking to you right now with my camera, it's hooked straight into my PC. But I'm not actually doing like where you eject a memory card and load in the footage that way. I'm just recording straight through OBS with the DLSR camera that I have. Yeah. And then I'm taking that footage, I'm adding some background music, and I'm basically just overlaying. Like, I have such a ridiculous amount of game trailer footage now that I've accumulated from like downloading different trailers off of YouTube and things. So now I'm just searching through my library of whatever I'm talking about, have that B-roll, as they call it, on screen. So if I'm talking about Mario Strikers Battle League, I'm playing that trailer in the background, and then I'm also screenshotting and snipping the parts of the article that I read through, and basically just using an effect to kind of zoom that in slowly, and it's just a piece. Because what I've found is that even the most where I think the niche or the service that the channel really, the purpose that it serves is like kind of your exact example that you mentioned, is that people have a passion for these things still, and they actually want to be in the news cycle of what's going on with these companies that they care about and these games that they love, but nobody has the time. And so if you ask somebody to take time out of their day to research articles and read through them, that's an activity at that point. Whereas a video you can throw on in the background, you can just listen to it. You can also, consume it full on, but it's more entertaining, and it's not just scrolling through text. And you're also getting a little bit of an idea of how this person that you follow reacted to this news. And I think that's kind of the thing that I want to continue to serve that purpose on the channel with Sunbro Nation, is just, taking a basic article, but breathing some life into it, and you still have the facts, and you walk away informed at the end of the video, but then you also have and this is what I think about that kind of stuff. And it's funny, there's kind of a side tangent here. Hopefully I answered all those questions. No, it's perfect, funny that sometimes, I don't get much flack at all. I can't complain, but there is definitely like a section of Nintendo fans that you can't be critical about anything Nintendo does at all, because they can do no wrong apparently, and you'll just see these defense posts in Nintendo. Like Nintendo needs to hire some of these people as like corporate defense attorneys, because they're just so ready. They're just so ready to go to bat for them for regardless. I mean, I love the company. I talk about them every single day of my life. But I will tell you that yes, it is it's a fun fan base to be a part of, because they definitely have some loyal followers out there too.
Oh, they totally do, man. So from start, from film to video, editing it, how long does it usually take to upload it to YouTube? Like, does the video take a while to save? I mean, your videos aren't too long. Do they take a while to save? Like, how long does that usually take?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's gotten a lot better with upload speed recently. I had to upgrade the internet package. I'm in an area where I only have one provider, and they give me good download speed. I'm not complaining about that, but they have their upload, if you get the highest plan on download, you get 30 megabits of upload, which is plenty now. That's what I was at, 5 or 6 or something like that. And so it would take a while for those videos to, I'd have them done, and then it would be uploading for an hour. That was kind of crazy. Now I can upload in 10 minutes. I would say the full process, it varies quite a bit, to be honest, because if there's a topic that I just have a ton to say about, and it's also very exciting, I can naturally get my filming done in 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes.
Right.
And, and I'll have my mistakes that I edit out and things, or when I'm reading an article and I misspeak, I have to go back and make some adjustments and things. But for the most part, that 20, 30 minutes on a good day, sometimes there are days where I'm really legitimately struggling to find what is relevant news that I can talk about. And so just the research process will balloon from, a 10, 20 minute thing to a full hour plus of me scrolling through all these different, so that varies, but I would say the average would be between 3 hours. If I'm being really fast, 3 hours from start to finish. And that's the filming, the editing, the uploading, and then creating the thumbnail, which I'm doing while it uploads.
Right.
And then you got to type out the description, title, and all that stuff. To on a longer day, when there's not good news, or there's just, I really was struggling for whatever reason to make it work, it can go upwards of 4.5, 5 hours. So there is a window in there, but normally it's not too much longer than that. If I've spent more than 5 hours on a video, something weird, I might just be feeling off, so.
I feel it, dude. Yeah. My videos don't take very long to do. There are some editing that I do. I have a very basic video editor. I just because my stuff is pretty simple, but it's from start to finish and to upload, it takes me a total about an hour. So if it goes anything longer, it means I'm just I'm feeling off, or there have been a few days where I'm just I don't think I can upload today, which I commend you, because I'm dude, he uploads the only day you don't upload is Sunday, it seems like.
Yeah, I normally pick either a Saturday or a Sunday for the weekend video, and I'm not picky about which one, just whatever works out better. But I've tried the schedule I've tried to stick to is 6 videos a week. But I feel you, man. Some days you do really have to force yourself to do it, especially whenever it's energetic content, because I think everybody would be super thrown off if it was All right, guys. So today, just
like, really, what's wrong, dude? What's going on, man? Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. Sometimes life can just get hard. You're just like, oh man. There are some days in my videos I'm like, oh, that was not a good reaction. Like the song was good, but I was like, oof, maybe we should have filmed that on a different day when I was feeling better. Because most people, when I don't rock out really hard, people are like, you all right? I was like,
right.
And there's, and again, you always want, at least for me, you always want to get the big bands. Like A Day to Remember just dropped a new song. Their song,
fantastic.
Yeah, dude, they have a song called Miracle. I don't know if you listen to their, I don't know if you do you listen to like albums and stuff? Like, are you an album guy, or do you prefer like songs? Like,
lately it's been more just I've actually kept up with more of the singles that have been released, or just songs that have dropped in anticipation to an album than actually going back and checking out the entire album. And similar to how I'm a sucker for nostalgia, I've also found myself kind of in a loop of like what I listened to, like 5-10 years ago is my go-tos a lot of times, as opposed to like keeping up with all the new stuff. So.
No, that's totally cool, man. I was just curious about that. I think that's awesome. Yeah, man, I saw it when you were talking Nintendo Prime when the whole Sonic the Hedgehog music got changed. I was like, that is a good song, man. That's some good stuff. So I was like, I think Michael Jackson actually did work on it. I think that was confirmed. I don't know if it was that game. I could be wrong if he worked on that game.
Yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and apparently that was the same time that Sega was developing Moonwalker, which is Michael Jackson's game on the Sega Genesis. So it would make perfect sense that they're like, hey man, we're done with that. Can you help? We're working on this giant Sonic game, but apparently he wasn't credited. So it's like Sega can't go out there and say it, but people have said it. Like people at work at Sega are like, yeah, he was involved. So I think that is the reason behind it.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, dude. But yeah, I was saying like, you always want to hit the big songs. Like for me, like I gotta hit something like A Day to Remember, because those bring in the views. So it's like I really gotta like, perk up that day. Like I gotta, because if you wait a couple of days, like it won't. The hype for it dies down. So you want to hit it as quick as possible, at least in my. So you just want to hit it as fast as you can.
Well, that's funny. Yeah. We're the same in that way if you think about it, because news dies as soon as it's a day old. Yeah, you can go 2-3 days on a news video with it still getting clicks, but like. Yeah, it's the same thing, man. Hype is like when something just drops, is you got to be fast to the punch. So I'm sure you can relate to that. Like you said, like it's actually important, but for real life stuff, sometimes it's like, oh man, I can't do this right now.
Exactly. That's happened a lot where I've either been like, for example, I was gone in Florida. I don't know. Do you know the band Falling in Reverse? You ever listen to them?
I've heard of them before. Yeah, I'm pretty deep down the rabbit hole of metalcore bands, so I know the names, but I'm not entirely like I can't remember what the last track that I've listened to from them is. But
you're all good. You're all good. I was actually in Florida at the time, and they dropped a new single, and dude, they bring in so many views. And I was like, oh god, man, I'm happy where I'm at right now, but it's like, man, like that could have got me like a lot of views. So yeah, no, dude, hype is super important. Where like again, if it's a massive band and you react to it or something, you're going to get a lot of plays, which is really helpful. So it's really important for me to like, I always like, especially because I always, for like when I prepare, like I always look and see like what's coming out next week. I can kind of plan like, okay, when do I work? When can I drop this reaction? So it's like, that's like my preparation process. Cause like I always just try to find the song and then I'm like, okay, or some people want to do like a request from Patreon. So I got to put that in there. So I always try to like find music news. So I guess we kind of do the same thing. So
yeah, pretty similar, man.
I go down the rabbit hole of like, okay, what's dropping? So I do that. I do it all the time, dude. So, but yeah, man, I just got just a couple more questions for you, dude. I'm actually really curious about this one because I feel like this one could either be like a really like, oh, I just really like them, or there could be like a legitimate story about it. But obviously, you love video games. Like they are just the best. Like how have video games like, I guess, change your life as a person? Like again, it doesn't have to be like a super in-depth story, but like why video games? Like why not movies? Why not music? Like why video games for you?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think like, I mean, it's like movies and shows, they serve their own purpose for me in a different way. Like, I feel like that's like I want to relax and unplug and just let somebody else do all the work. Video game, especially like the style of games that I'm super into, like your Legend of Zelda or Mario or even Dark Souls. That series has become such, which by the way, I need to persuade you to get super into that if you haven't already, because man, I need to. There's a Zelda itch that it scratches there that I can't I just know that there's a lot of crossover with hardcore Zelda fans that also get into the Soul series, but
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, for sure. So, but with those style games, I guess it's kind of always been a thing ever since I was a kid. Like, it kind of creates a rush that nothing else does. Like, you're in control of the character. And I also tend to gravitate towards sometimes more difficult games too, because I enjoy like with Metroid Dread, dude, that brought me back to like when I was a kid failing at Super Mario All-Stars on, Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World, not being able to beat the final stage. Like, you have to platform just right and you have to keep doing it over and over until you finally figure it out. And I guess I don't have the exact like psychological reason on why I like that so much, but it definitely brings a feeling of like satisfaction and enjoyment. Like once I've beaten a boss that I'm stuck on, or in some cases with Zelda too, like there's some story elements that are so heavy. But you know what's funny is I think I am a more gameplay heavy focused gamer because if I want the story, I tend to pick a movie for that, or I tend to pick not that gaming and stories can't go beautifully together, because they definitely do, but I definitely do gravitate towards more gameplay heavy games with kind of like shorter cutscenes in between. God of War being a perfect example, where you still have a good narrative going on the whole time, but you are in intense combat at most points in the game.
Right.
Some games go too story heavy for me. I really can't do them, but yeah, I just think it's like, you as you grow up in life, you kind of make time for things that are really important to you. And for some reason, gaming has always been one of those things that I wouldn't say an escape from the real world, but like a literal, like almost a mental reward to get through a game that I care about, and just an experience to have. And it's like, my parents always thought I would grow out of games when I was a kid, just assume like, you'll stop playing when you're old. Like, it is like ingrained into my life.
Totally.
And I just love it, and I just think, and I think like we're really probably now at a point where every future generation is going to be a gamer growing up their entire, you know what I mean? It's here to stay. We were just kind of really around the time of watching it, where it came from to where that is at now, and even where it's heading is just so crazy. And so, I just, it's one of those natural passions. I can only put it into words like that. It's not a real specific story. I mean, my grandma did buy us the Super Nintendo for Christmas, which is the whole reason we bought it, or the whole reason we had it.
Yeah.
And from there, it was just like, wow, I enjoy doing this more than a lot of other things that have just always been pulled to it. So,
dude, I love that, man. That's so cool. Yeah, it's just a passion. It's funny how like a lot of people, I talked to a lot of people about this too, where it's like they feel like video games are like a waste of time, or they're just like, it's for nerds. And it's like, it's like, I look at that and I'm like, like even when I'm married, like I'm still want to play video games. Like that's never going to change. Like I've told my girlfriend, I was like, look, just to let you know, like obviously you come first, bills will come first, but it's like, there's some days especially like when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, whenever that's called, I'm like, dude, I am literally, I'm taking time off of work to play that game. Like I'm not messing around with that. Like I'm not messing around, dude. So no, I just find it weird that like the world thinks that, well, maybe not so much anymore, but at least back in the day, everyone's just like, it's gonna rot your brain, like Grand Theft Auto's gonna ruin your life, and like that's a whole different story. But it's like, honestly, I found a lot of joy in video games, dude. Like I remember playing like The Last of Us. Like I'm a huge fan of that game, and I just like fell in love with the story, and I was like, man, if I had a daughter, I would be. I don't know. Have you played that game?
Yeah, so I bought Last of Us Remastered on the PS4.
Yeah.
No, sorry. But yeah, I bought Last of Us Remastered on the PS4, and I never finished it. I got into it for a minute, and then I never completed it.
Okay, I won't say anything. I don't want to.
You're good. I do know, unfortunately, because of how big it is in the gaming space, I kind of know some spoilers, but I understand, like, for sure that game, I mean, it's won awards on the story for a reason, so I get that aspect.
Exactly. And then, the whole thing with like, I was actually going to ask you, because I don't know if you, I mean, I know you're more of the Nintendo guy, but I mean, you're not very story heavy. Have you heard about the controversy with Last of Us Part 2 that has been out for like 2 years now? It's going to be out, it's been like a year. Have you heard the controversy with Last of Us 2? Have you seen anything for it at all?
Yeah, well, one of my buddies is really into it, and he's sounded off pretty passionately about being unhappy with the direction of that story.
Honestly, I love hearing people like. Honestly, there are parts where I was like, I don't agree with this, and a lot of people say it ruined the franchise. It definitely. Well, if you ever play it, we'll definitely talk about it. But
definitely, yeah, for sure. Do you think Naughty Dog was trying to be like the contrarian so much to the point that they just like they wrote something that was just going to anger people to try to throw like a curveball? Because it seems like they really did a good job of like taking a fan base that was like so loyal to the first story and then just making everybody like enraged.
Yeah, and then it's funny because it's like I see this with movies a lot too, where the critics, I don't know, the critic score for Last of Us Part 2 was just as high as the first one. We're talking like a must play, like a Metacritic, like a 90, like a 96, 97. But then the user score is like 3.2. I'm like, what the? But
yeah,
I think so because again, I'm a huge fan of Uncharted as well, and Uncharted 4 did not have any of those crazy curveballs. It told a very just simple, direct story where The Last of Us Part 2 takes you on so many twists and turns that people do not agree with. I would say, yeah, they're like, and I've watched interviews with them say like we knew the direction we wanted to take the story, so I assume they probably were like, we're gonna probably piss some people off with this, but that's all right. It still sold well, like the best-selling PlayStation 4 game. It was like the last big game before the PlayStation 5 came out, so like they knew, they knew what they were doing. So yeah, I think they probably did. I would assume so. I mean, I don't know. I feel I'm very conflicted with that game. I mean, I beat it like in 2 days. And I don't know, man. There's a lot. And again, I know you haven't played it, so we can't talk about it much. But yeah, there's definitely some hit or misses with that. And then a lot of people are mad about the part 1 like remaster, and people are like, I'm not paying $70 for this. I'm like, I'm not paying $70 for that, dude. I already bought. Dude. I bought it on PS3 and I bought the remaster on PS4. I'm not paying $70 for a game I've played. I can literally know the back of my hand. Like that game, I can literally quote the entire game. I know every beat. So I'm like, I'm not paying $70 for that again. I'm not doing that.
Well, it's still kind of crazy that you can pop in the PS4 Last of Us Part 1 remastered on a PS5.
You can download it right now.
Meanwhile, I have to make 70 videos on Nintendo not bringing Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to the Switch because there's no good way to play them and they're older. And Sony's out here doing a remaster.
The game that's not even 10. The game's not even 10 years old, dude.
Yeah, yeah, that's rough.
I feel my thing is, and we can talk about this a little bit. My thing is, they need to like Last of Us 1 was already great. The game was good, great. Like I feel like they should remake games that really do need the remake. Ocarina of Time. Like I've been, dude. I'm not joking, dude. I would literally get on my knees at Nintendo and just be like, I'm begging you for an Ocarina of Time from the ground up remake.
Yes.
Like, you have no idea. Dude, I'm not joking. If they announce that at Nintendo Direct, the world is going to shake. Like we're going to be like, there's something happening, right? There's like an earthquake, something shifting over. Because dude, that kind of game needs a remake. It's like the best game of all time. Like it's claimed to be the greatest, the highest game on Metacritic. And it's like Nintendo knows that. And that game is awesome. It's like if they could just redo, because again, I watch all your videos on like like Ocarina of Time and just how crappy it was on NSO. I was so excited to play it again, and I gave up. I was like, I can't play it because I have the Pro controller, and I couldn't get my hands on the Nintendo 64 because again, Scalpers was sold out. I couldn't get my hands on it, but I would love a game like that. That's already a great game, but a little bit older. Those are the games that we need to be remaking. Like I don't need Last of Us Part 1 that's not even 10 years old for $70. I would pay $7 for Ocarina of Time. That's not a problem. But I don't know. I look at that and I'm just like, Naughty Dog used to have so much of my respect, and now they're just doing all these weird decisions that I'm like, I don't like it. It makes me upset, dude.
Some companies seem to fall victim to their own success, where it just becomes one of those things, man. And that might be that with them. Because, $70 remake of a game that's not 10 years old and a remake.
A remake. I'm like, this is insane. Yeah, like, why?
That's pretty bad. I get why people are outraged about that. Like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not. I mean, I understand.
Well, it wasn't the thing that they didn't even make the gameplay. The gameplay enhancements are not there from Last of Us Part 2 or something like that.
Exactly. So they took Last of Us Part 2 had some, like, say what you want about the story. The combat is sick. It's really, it is fresh. It is awesome. It's very intense. They had like a dodge mechanic in Last of Us Part 2, which was super helpful. I played that game like on the hardest mode just to try it, and that dodge mechanic was super helpful. They also have you can go prone, which is awesome. And so people are like, yeah, we're gonna put that Last of Us Part 1. Dude, there's no going prone. There's no dodging. I'm like, there's no multiplayer, I don't think. I'm like, this is just, how could you guys even think this is okay? Like, I hope no one buys it and it teaches them a lesson of like, maybe we won't do this again, but I know it's gonna sell well. But I am not. I am not buying that. Even though I love The Last of Us, I'm just like, I can't do it, dude. That got really heated there for a sec. I'm so sorry. I was like, I got really.
No, you're good. I understand, man.
I'm passionate about games, dude. So I'm just like, it just frustrates me, when stuff like that happens. But dude, I was gonna ask you too before we kind of wrap things up here. Are you I really want another Nintendo Direct. I'm with you, dude. It's literally like I wake up and like, dude, I'm so excited for Nintendo Directs. Like, is there anything that you want to see in the next Direct, kind of speculating, or like what game are you looking forward to like for like the rest of this year? Like, is there anything that you want to see in like a Direct that we just haven't seen? Just kind of like speculate, because I would love to hear like your thoughts. Like, what do you want in like the next, like, let's say September they're gonna drop one and they're like, Mark, what do you want to see in it? Like, what would you want it to be in there?
Yeah, so it's easy because these games I've been talking about for so long, but Metroid Prime 1 has to come. There's no way that they release Metroid Prime 4 and don't give fans an easy way to play. This would be a remake that is justified on its price.
I agree with that.
The GameCube is 20 years old. Metroid Prime is 20 years old. That's a whole person that is now that was not born, that is now a full-grown adult.
It's true. And that game still looks great. I'm like, it
does,
dude. It's such a good-looking game. Seriously, one of the best games ever made. But please continue. Yeah.
No, you're good. Not only for the nostalgia factor, I've held out on replaying it, and I've done it like just briefly at the beginning of the game in videos to talk about it. And dude, I am immediately immersed in the world again.
So
and it's
sick.
Like, dude, it has the action, and like, I'm not even a first-person shooter guy, and you can't really call it a first-person. Yeah, you can't call it a first-person shooter. It's different than that, but the platforming element with the first-person shooting action, with the dodge mechanic, and with the exploration, and then the ongoing upgrades to your suit the entire time, and your abilities.
Makes you want to just keep playing to figure out what's going to happen and get your stuff back. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's
so
genius.
Many cool different themed areas where you're in a forest area at first, and then you're Chozo Ruins, which is more desert, dried out themed. You have a fire area, an ice area with like one of the most like banger soundtracks in the background.
So
dude, it's such a great game. So bring that over in the next Nintendo Direct, and I'm actually fairly confident. Jeff Grubb's fairly confident, at least, as one of the main gaming journalists that I've reported on. But he does tend to think that game is a real thing and is coming. And I think I think it is too, because it just makes sense. So I think that's a safe prediction. I'm obviously almost more hyped for Breath of the Wild 2 than like anything on the horizon right now.
Dude, we need to talk about that. I've been waiting because I wanted to do like, I know I don't want to keep too much of your time, but I just want to do like a Breath of the Wild section with you, dude. Because we can do a whole podcast just talking Breath of the Wild for like 2 hours easily, dude. Like, but yeah.
It's such it transformed the series. Like, I love the classical 3D Zelda formula was not even old for me. A lot of people, I will say that Skyward Sword, while it's a fantastic game, it did stick very close to that traditional Zelda formula, and I do think like we needed a shakeup from there, dude. But I never would have imagined that Breath of the Wild would have smashed it out of the park the way they did.
Well, dude, what's go. I was gonna say really quick, little side note. I'd never played Skyward Sword until the Switch port. I was at the point where I was sick of the Wii. I was like, I don't want to do motion controls, but they brought over Skyward Sword. I was like, okay, I'm buying this. Dude, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really fun. I think a lot of people, I watched a lot of reviews for it. People were like, some people say it's one of the best. Some people say it's one of the worst. And I was like, it's not my favorite by any means, but I love how it was like the beginning. And I love I thought it was, I thought it was super sick. That fight with Demise was awesome. I was like, this is like dope. I really like this fight. Yeah, that was sick.
When it comes to story, the story, when you talk about the origin story for the Legend of Zelda series, like, that smashes it out of the park. I think
fantastic.
I think the complaint from a lot of people was, at least it was for me, was the forced motion control on the Wii.
Yeah.
And then you had it off the tail of Twilight Princess, which was a very impressive game in its own right. And I think because at that point they had done Ocarina of Time, then to Majora's Mask, then to Wind Waker, then to Twilight Princess, and they all kind of they have that same basic outline of how you progress and go through dungeons. And I think that the vocal thing from fans at that point, whenever it came out on the Wii originally, I think maybe back in 2011 or something like that.
I think it was 2011, yeah.
It's time for something new. This is the same old Zelda, and we have to play with motion controls. Granted, I think people got hung up on that, and they didn't experience one of the best stories in the franchise history. And then it's the best of both worlds now on the Switch, because not only does it look better, but you get button controls too if you want to play that way.
That's all I play.
I'm okay with playing motion occasionally, but when you're talking a 40 to 60 hour adventure, dude, like I don't want to like sword and shield everything like the whole time.
I know.
I'm just a traditional controller gamer, but
me too for sure.
But then when you take it into the open world, why I'm most excited for Breath of the Wild 2 is because I think that Nintendo tried to drive home the point that it was the open world Zelda experience, and I love I have so many positive things to say about it, but there are some elements of more traditional style Zelda games that I kind of were missing from Breath of the Wild. Like it's great on its own, but it also is so different that I want that best of both worlds. And I would be okay with, instead of just having like, the 4 divine beasts were really cool, but having like those like elemental themed dungeons at certain points, a fire temple or a water temple or some kind of, something entirely new. Like if they can somehow incorporate the best of both worlds in this game, which I think is what they're going to do. I mean, it sounds like I think they're going to be underground in addition to in the sky. So you have the whole kind of the people say it's the same Hyrule, but you have that Hyrule land, which is already vast, and then you're going to have underground sections, which I'm theorizing might be the dungeons. It's like, there's going to be sky dungeons though too, most likely,
probably.
But and then we don't know what's going on with the hero. Are we playing as like a 10,000-year-old? Like, are we playing as the ancient hero at certain points? Like, what's the deal with his hair? I haven't gone too down the rabbit hole on theories on that, but I think the title is going to tell us, and I think that's what Nintendo knows. And so hopefully, I mean, I want that to be the September Direct. I also don't know that it will be. They might do a Zelda Focus Direct in January, or just make it part of the February,
Dude, I would, I streamed one of the Directs on Twitch. If they had a Zelda Direct, I will be streaming that thing and just be squealing the whole time. No, I agree with you. This is, maybe you agree with me, this is the weirdest rollout of a game I've ever been a part of, because like not only do we not know the name, we've never, besides I guess kind of Majora's Mask, we never really had a direct sequel to a game as far as Zelda was, as far as I know.
Yeah, you're totally right about that.
Well, I guess Link what's the second game?
A Link Between Worlds is like a link to the past. Is that what you're referencing? Or
oh no, it was the Adventure of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link on the NES.
I guess
that. But I guess I guess 3. We haven't had a sequel to a game in a long time. And dude, when they announced that sequel, dude, I was so hyped. But then they were kind of quiet for a while, so I was a little worried. And people were like, they were so excited for the 2022 release. I'm like, guys, have you not seen the history of like all Zelda games? They always get delayed, and this one is. But I feel like it's to just. I feel like it's just to polish some stuff up and make it the best it can be. But no, I agree. If they can somehow incorporate like dungeons, like sky, ground, I'm concerned but happy, because I'm like, where are they going to go from here? If they can get, like, because Breath of the Wild is one of the best games I've ever played. If they can incorporate the old classic Zelda into this new style, it's like, dude, I don't know how they're going to top the next Zelda game. I have no idea what they're going to do. It actually concerns me. I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do, dude. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But I agree with you on the title. The title will tell us everything. I've heard so many rumors about the title. I've heard Heart of the Wild. I've heard Breath of Darkness. I'm like, that sounds like a really bad metalcore band starting out. You know what I mean?
It does. Yeah.
Breath of Darkness.
That's great.
But yeah, man, I'll definitely be hitting you up when we get the title. I know you're gonna make a video on it. I'll be the first like. I feel like
I bet you anything. And my personal prediction with the title is that it doesn't have Breath of the or Wild or anything. I think it's something totally different. You know, I mean, maybe it has a similar ring in the amount of like words that are in the title, and I don't know what that would be, but it's not. It's going to be something new. At least that's what I think. But you know, Nintendo's Nintendo, so who knows?
For sure. I've also heard Bond of the Triforce. I've heard that a lot.
Dude, if they throw Triforce into a title in a Zelda game, watch out, because that's going to have to fill some big shoes. Dude, you know what I mean? Like,
that might. I don't know, but yeah, the title and just. We need something else. Yeah, I want to know like what's going on, you know. But I agree. Like my other thing with Breath of the Wild was like I really love the adventure aspect of it. And I know Zelda's, you know, very good on story. Obviously, with a big open world like that, I think it's a little hard to tell because I found all the memories and stuff, and I went through all that. But then I look at a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, who was able to capture like a really good story with that open world element. I really hope the story for Breath of the Wild 2 is kind of more. Let's say in the forefront, because I'm a big story guy, and I really feel like, for me personally, the memories were cool. We kind of pieced it together, but I personally would like it more in the forefront. That was actually my biggest. Yeah. I was okay with the Divine Beasts. I was fine with them. I was like, whatever. But I would like the story to be more in the forefront for this next game. That's like the biggest. That was my biggest complaint with Breath of the Wild. Personally,
I wasn't a fan of the memories either, to be honest. Like it's such important, pertinent information to what's going on, but it's kind of like it feels optional. You know, like
it does.
It's just, you know, it's just so it's kind of it was a weird way to approach that. So I think. Yeah, like I feel like Nintendo, when they go into a new direction for something, there's like the 1.0, which breaks down the doors and does like, okay, now we're doing open world Hyrule and an open world experience with a Zelda game. And then the 2.0 is the refinement of all of that. And I think that's hopefully like, you know, that is like a mixture of like the memories I agree with, and then also Divine Beasts were good. That's not actually like a vocal complaint, other than just I liked the variety of the elemental dungeons as opposed to them all kind of being similar to each other.
For sure.
But then the other thing was while I'm okay with the shrines, like I kind of miss, you know, like finding like heart pieces or you know.
I did too. Yeah.
And there's definitely an element of like. There's so many shrines, like, you know, and it's like, it comes down to that same thing where they have like the same kind of design. And that's why I'm excited to hear about things like an underground section of Hyrule, in the sky section of Hyrule, plus all of the vast land that we already know, like, and it's probably going to be heavily altered. So it's like,
I'm excited
dude, like this is going to be great. I think this is going to be a standout Zelda for sure.
Do you think they released Skyward Sword on purpose first? Because I mean, I thought that was such
I
a
think
weird.
I bet
I
you
agree,
they did.
because I was like, what a weird game to drop, because I was like, because I knew the controversy behind it, because with motion control and whatever. I was like, I still don't want to give Ocarina of Time. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
They just won't do it.
Dude, if they want to do a safe sales number bet, they would have gone for Ocarina would have just I mean, that'll break everything if they ever re-release that.
Yeah.
Especially on the Switch. I'm frustrated that they did it on the 3DS, because I love the 3DS, but it's a handheld and you can't play it on a TV. Like, I feel like they remade it on the wrong generation of consoles. But anyway,
I agree.
We won't dive into all that, but I do think that you know, I think that with Breath of the Wild 2, or I mean with the re-release strategy on Skyward Sword, it has to kind of play into Breath of the Wild 2, because it's their worst selling mainline 3D Zelda game, you know, and so it's like, why do you remake that one when you could print money with the way they did the Wii U ports so far by just doing a Wind Waker, Twilight Princess HD, to way more notable Zelda games that a lot of people were just upset when we saw Skyward Sword. Everybody was like, "Where's Wind Waker, Twilight? Like, why am I getting this?"
They're literally ready. So, like, put it over, dude. Like, put them on Switch.
So I definitely think that, like, Nintendo's mind, they're like, a lot of people didn't play Skyward Sword. We're going to have story elements with the skies or whatever's going on, however that ties into Master Sword origin story stuff, whatever. We're going to reference some stuff in the story, so it's important to put this one out first. I agree. I think that's most likely what they did.
Do you think Fee's going to be in the game? Like, the person that was in the do you think she's going to be in there?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I think she is too. I would scream like, that's so sick. That's so cool.
Dude, I really hope they do some deep stuff with the lore in Skyward Sword, because like I said, like, even though I would say, like, while the boss battles and everything are fantastic, it's definitely not
they're cool
at the top of my list as a 3D Zelda. But if it just like gameplay wise, but if you take just the story by itself, objectively, it's probably the most intense and content full story in like, and stuff that you care about in the Zelda world, because it is the origin story. So I hope they go as hard into that, like full on Skyward Sword reference. Like, you should have played Skyward Sword because we're referencing it a lot. Like, I hope they do that in Breath of the Wild too.
I hope they do too. Because like, I hate when people have to like feel like they have to tiptoe around like, some people didn't play as much. Like, no, like fully, because it's kind of like, with like a movie, like if you go into like a sequel, you're not gonna have no idea. Yeah. So it's like people like play Skyward Sword, like you should play this, and then it'll tie in. So again, there's just not much to speculate on the fact that I'm just so excited, and I cannot wait to watch all your videos on Breath of the Wild too, because I will be right there for it, dude. But dude, to kind of just wrap things up here, I just want to ask, because again, my boy, are you jamming anything right now, like listening to kind of metal music or anything that I've reacted to that you've liked recently or anything?
Well, Lamb of God's got a new album coming out, which I'm pretty conflicted on, because I like it. I do. Like, I love that they're putting out a new album, but this is, I believe, going to be their first one without Chris Adler.
Yep.
Which is, dude, that's my drummer, dude. Like, he's like fully all my inspiration for getting into drums, and just the style that he has.
You play drums?
Have we not talked about this yet? I thought we did on college. I'm not great, but dude, like, I mean, I like playing, like, I can cover pretty accurately, and sadly recently I haven't played as much as I like to, but I can cover songs like Laid to Rest and so yeah, dude, I freaking love it, man. And similar, so he was like self-taught at like 21 or something in college, something like that. He was just like inspiration through and through for me, the way that he does like the gallops with the double bass and all that stuff. So at the current place that I'm at, I don't have my drum set set up, so it hasn't been recent. But dude, like, there's a whole nother topic of conversation, because like from Guitar Hero and Rock Band games, I like always knew that like I was paying the most attention to the drum track on things, and so so I started with just playing literally on Rock Band and Guitar Hero drums, and then I ended up ultimately getting a Yamaha kit and Zildjian cymbals or something like. I mean, I went pretty far down the rabbit hole at one point, and I definitely, it's sad that I haven't kept up with it as much now, but dude, no, I freaking love, like, there is such a release that I get from playing the drums, man, that I just
how did I not know this? We're going to wrap things up, and I didn't know this. Yeah. I got to let you go soon. I was like, crap, dude, I guess we'll have to just chat again another time. I had no idea. I knew you like metal, but I didn't know you played dude,
yes, no, it's not. I've never really, like, it's always just been kind of like,
Laid to Rest is pretty tough to say. I'm pretty tough to play. Yeah, dude.
In a perfect world, one day, whenever I can, get, I guess, just things figured out more from like a where I can record drums type of thing, I would love to just have a completely for fun channel where I'm just like playing, songs that I care about and covering them, because dude, I'm all about it. I love it,
dude. I had no idea that you love music that much, that you play drums, dude. I knew that you like metal. I was like, dude, well, it was nice because when we talked, you knew some of the bands. Like, some people like what's your favorite band? Like, just like, Metallica. I'm like, Metallica's cool. And I'm talking like metalcore, but like, dude, that's really sick. But okay, Lamb of God, what else you jamming? Then we'll kind of wrap things up here.
Yeah, for sure. Anything? Well, here, let me pull up my most recent playlist, because I can tell you. Have you've heard of We Butter the Bread with Butter, right? I've been stuck on one of their albums for a while now, dude. They've been out for a while, but
my girlfriend loves that band. Like, she
really?
Yeah, she's a metalhead.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she loves We Butter the Bread with Butter. That's hilarious. Are you into Electric Callboy? Do you like them?
Oh yeah, Electric Cowboy's fantastic,
dude. I'm gonna be honest, dude. Everyone watching, dude, they bring in the views. Like, I'm just saying, they bring in the subs and the views. Just to let y'all know. Yeah. Bro,
did Impending Doom did they do their actual album? Because I know you sent me that one song that's I think you sent it to me. That it's like Satanic Panic or something like that, and then there was that whatever that's on. I listened to some of that, and it's great.
Yeah, it's part of their EP. I forgot. I think it's called Hellbent, I believe it's called. It's just an EP that came out. So yeah, that's like 5 songs. Yeah, Impending Doom is sick. When you told me that you liked, like, oh dang, dude, Homeboy goes heavy. I didn't know.
They're heavy. Well, I mean, I got really like, it was like a gradual progression from like Metallica, and then got super into like Metallica, Megadeth, thrash style bands, and then it went to like Machine Head. Have you heard of them? They're one that,
dude, how we should have been friends years ago, dude, because we would have been homies in high school, dude, for sure.
Yeah, because Machine Head was one of those bands that was kind of like, for me, like it was the first that took that Metallica style of guitar riffs, but then it introed into with some of the screaming vocals, and like they got a little bit heavier than what Metallica was, you know?
For sure. It was, exactly.
Yeah, and so that kind of opened up the door to then more like Lamb of God, and then, you know, Whitechapel, and at one point I've seen,
dude. That's so
dude,
cool.
I've seen Whitechapel live like 3 different times. I've seen Chelsea Grin and Attila in one show together, which I will tell you, they overbooked and oversold the arena that they were at, and I was like moshing, and dude, it was like I had to go into survival mode to get out of the mosh pit to actually take a breath, because dude, it was like the first time I was like, oh yeah, that's how people can like get trampled at concerts, you know, because I was like about to pass out, like bumping into everybody and having dude. Yeah, like I've been to some legit metal shows. So.
That is, again, I knew you liked metal, but I didn't know that you've seen these bands live or you played drum. Like, that's actually really, that's kind of stuff. It's kind of like a reaction. That's my honest reaction. Like, I had no idea that you did that, dude. So that's super sick, man. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time, dude. We could definitely talk another time about music and stuff, but I just
I'd like to do it again in the future, man. We'll definitely stay in contact. So whenever it works out, we can do a podcast part 2 and focus it on, you know, more of the metal music side of things for sure.
Yeah, man, absolutely. But dude, do you want to? I mean, again, this will go on all streaming platforms, anything, of course, my YouTube. But dude, please, like, plug your stuff, man. Patreon, YouTube channel, like whatever you want to plug, man. Please.
Yeah, for sure. Primary focus is Sunbro Nation on YouTube, and you can find me really on any social media at Sunbro Nation. I was fortunate enough to get that.
I saw that
handle.
Too.
Yeah, so Twitter, Instagram, and I'm most active on Twitter besides YouTube. But YouTube, you're gonna see 5 videos a week focused on Nintendo focused news. And then you'll have like a weekend video that's normally topical. So it might be a look back at an old game, or it might be just booting up a game and talking about the rumors around it that have been suggesting that there's remasters, looking at GoldenEye that we're still waiting on. But
we're still, I know you talk about it really quick. I don't want to cut you, but I think it is because of what's going on right now. I think why they're like, because you brought up a good point. It's like, I think he's right, but because my dude, that game's ready. I know it's there. And again, because they released those achievements, and I was like, dude, the game's ready to go. We just need to wait.
Somebody paid re-reviewed. I pulled off the Germany ban list.
I saw that.
Stuff. Meanwhile, Rare employees are unlocking achievements for it. It's like, come on, it's gonna happen. And somebody said in the comments, and I don't know if this is true or not. I know it is true. Actually, it would be the 20th anniversary, or not? Is it the 20th? No. 25th year anniversary, because it was out in 97, right? So
yeah,
it's in August, and so maybe it's actually aligned to be dropped or announced as part of something like a anniversary event.
That makes sense, because didn't Sonic Origins drop on Sonic's birthday per se?
Yeah,
so, I mean that could be it. Yeah,
maybe it's that, but also more than likely, if it was already ready to go and they were going to push it out, and then all this stuff. I mean, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp isn't out for this exact reason, and Nintendo had that game planned for April. So yeah, I definitely agree that that's most likely what's going on with it. But yeah, no. Besides that, just all things, Nintendo news, occasionally other gaming companies as well. Mainly Sony would be my second go-to, but 5 videos a week on the channel, and then weekend video around a different topic. So you can find me Sunbro Nation just about anywhere online.
Literally, ladies and gentlemen, Mark, Sunbro Nation, dude, literally the king. I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, dude, for making time to come on, dude. You are like one of the coolest, nicest guys I've talked to, like when it comes to like YouTube and stuff. Like, you have been so kind to me, and dude, keep up the good work, man. Your stuff is fantastic.
Thanks so much, bro. I appreciate you, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for listening to the Chandler Burton Podcast. Always remember that you are loved, and until next time, I hope you all take care. Thank you again, Mark.